Hello, welcome to Coach One Sports. Yours truly, Coach Bull Jones. I got my folks with me today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some sports live show, my very first live show. So make sure that you have fun with me. We're going to go down this road. But guess what? I got my brothers here with me to enjoy some festive football talk. We're going to talk college football. We're going to have fun with it. And so if you enjoy this show, please make sure you make comments down at the bottom. You got some good questions, some good things to talk about, and make sure that we get you on the air talking football, and we definitely going to chat back with you. So once again, make sure, subscribe, enjoy the show, kick back, relax. I got some wonderful guys with me they're going to talk some football. I'm going to start over in the top corner. I got a little bit of everything tonight, y'all. I got the man, the myth, the legend. I call him JL now. His real name is Johnathan Lewis. But the reason why I call him JL, because nobody does it like him. The analytical man. Hey, man, the big brother from another mother. I got four of them here with me tonight. Johnathan Lewis, go ahead and give us a shout out and tell us how everybody can reach you.
College football, Johnathan Lewis on YouTube, at College FB Lewis on Twitter. Talk all college football, mainly recruiting. And yeah, that's it.
Hey, man, sports fan. He's the Muhammad Ali of this stuff we doing here. Next guy I want to talk to. It's been hard to catch him lately because he's been so busy making all that money. But I found him because some of you all have been asking me, where is that guy that puts the hair on people's back when he opens his mouth? It's no other than Aaron Parks from Enough Said Sports. Go ahead and give a shout out real quick. Tell everybody to find you.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for having me. Aaron Parks, Enough Said Sports. When we don't do stand-up, we do business. And we don't make friends, we make money. Definitely join us on YouTube at Enough Said Sports. Go on there, search us up, subscribe, and get paid to watch these sports.
All right, and so I had to go ahead and get some guys that are in the ranks of training people in the trenches right now. The speed genius is what he's otherwise known as. To me, he's still my guy, Brad Lester, former running back at Auburn University, also made a stint up in the NFL, but he trains the top running backs in the nation. He is the speed genius. Brad, give me a shout out. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, hang on,
Brad, I lost you. That's all right, though. Go ahead and get through the hole, cut left to right, move them feet, and let's get back in.
Can you hear
Brad,
me
let's go ahead and give a shout out real quick, Brad, how people can find you. Can you hear us, Brad? All right, let's move on to Craig Chatman, my other brother from another mother. We coached together before, but sports fans, he just got another state championship ring this past baseball season, but he is a football guy, so don't get it twisted. Likes to throw that ball around. Chatman, tell everybody where they can find you. Welcome to the show.
Craig Chatman, offensive coordinator, Pike County High School, and you can yell at me at Coach Chatman09 on Twitter.
All right, hey, Brad, you able to get to us yet, Brad? I know you're probably in Hawaii somewhere training right now.
I'm actually at this little beach, and it's kind of storming outside. That's why it's kind of hard to hear y'all.
Well, listen, go ahead and let the sports fans know that are listening. This is a live show, so let them know how they can find you.
At the Speed Genius on Instagram and at Brad Lester 1 on Twitter.
Now you make sure. Now, if you see lightning, you run. Use that 4.3. I don't know. Do you still have the 4.3, or you 4.8 now?
No, I ain't running a 4.8. I'm still running at least 4.4, 4.5. You ain't gonna try me like that now.
Well, I just want to make sure you were paying attention.
Look, I'm good.
There you go. People need to see your face, man. Hey, so listen, real quick. I want us to all. Yeah, hey, listen, we about to have some fun talking about some things going on in collegiate football. We're going to talk about Archie Manning. We're going to talk about all the NILs in a situation now where they're going to kill college football. Also, we're going to talk about the recruiting wars. Who's got the lead? Who's doing well? Who's not doing so well? And then also, Johnathan got some stuff he want to turn us on to about what's happening today in college football. This stuff is always changing, and I'm just glad I have these guys with me today. So let's go ahead and start it off. Archie Manning. I did a show about him last week about, Sarkisian caught the big fish. What are your thoughts on that? Aaron? We'll start with you first.
Yeah, I was on a show with Johnathan last week, and we talked about this. And I believe that Arch Manning is not necessarily the best quarterback in the nation. I just believe that his upside is tremendous just because of the level of resources and the family connections as far as what he's able to lean upon to grow is just so much greater than any quarterback in the nation. I think that's where Arch Manning's upside is, and I think it's a tremendous get for the Texas Longhorns. But there's a lot of pressure there because obviously, if you got a young man that plays well this year, it's going to be a really tough decision with Arch Manning coming onto the team. Somebody's going to have to transfer, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Arch Manning comes on board.
Wow. See, and I talked about that too. Chatman, you played quarterback, you coached the quarterbacks, back we together, we were throwing that thing around, boy, that was a wonderful sight, boy. I tell you
Absolutely.
What is your take on Arch Manning?
It's like Aaron said, he's got all of this, wealth of knowledge to draw from. You can just pick up the phone or go over and have dinner with somebody that's done it at the highest level. And that's a pretty big thing. There should be nothing that he should not be shocked by anything he sees. So, because he ought to be able to sit down with somebody that has seen it all before. As far as, Texas, I think he went straight because of the offense that Texas runs. Because I think that he looked at, how the whole thing played out at Alabama, the productivity, the maturation process, the development of quarterbacks, and I think that weighed in on his decision.
Wow, a lot of people I did the show about it, everybody want to talk about,
let me stop everybody there.
Okay.
I think the decision made on Texas. Look at Texas A&M football. Look at University of Texas football. Look at anything football in Texas. It's all about money. And I think with the talent that he has, being the number one quarterback in the country, and the money that the state of Texas can offer him in NIL was, made that decision. You look at University of Alabama; they're only as big as Tuscaloosa is. University of Texas has support from the whole state of Texas, and I feel like that's what made the decision on him going to Texas. The competition level is not as high. He doesn't have anybody he has to compete with. He's going to make money as an 18-year-old, probably making $1 million a year at 18 years old, and he's going to come in right away and be the starter. I mean, if I'm the parent of Archie Manning, it's a no-brainer.
So Johnathan, I want you to piggyback on what Brad said. What your thoughts are, because I think something a little different, but I want to hear what you got to say before I go back to what Brad said.
All right, so I'll start off exactly where Brad left off. Texas oil money. We already know the NIL. Look, people talk about Nico and the $8 million deal or Jaden Rashada and this 9.5. If Texas wants to, they can squash that real quick. This dude's going to be making, if they want, he could be making Patrick Mahomes money. Let's be real for a minute. Now, will he? No, not to that extent. But I thought I taught you better, Aaron. I really did, bro. Let me explain what I'm talking about here. By the time Arch gets on campus, bro, look, Quinn Ewers is only going to have 1 year to play, and he's going to the NFL. So with that being said, Arch is only going to sit one season. He's going to be a redshirt freshman by the time he starts. And look, I actually agree with you. I think that Arch he has a 4-star with a 5-star bump because of his name, in my opinion. I definitely agree with that 100%. And this quarterback class is completely loaded. I don't like the fact that he plays in a 2A division. Zachary, Louisiana. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. Unlimited resources, yes, 100%. And another thing I don't like is he didn't play in the Elite 11 camp. I don't like that either. So if I'm the best, I want to compete against the best, and that's already turning me off right away. Now, does it fit the system that Sarkisian's running? 110%, yes. Because look at Georgia. with Brock Vandegrift, with Carson Beck and those guys. He doesn't fit into that quarterback room. Alabama with Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, and now Eli Holstein, he doesn't fit into that quarterback room. Gotcha. Texas, it's a whole different ballgame. Sarkisian can roll out the red carpet and give him the money he wants. That's what it comes down to. Wow.
Now, wait a minute. What about Malik Murphy? I mean, he's there. I mean, he's a recruit. So he's a prototype pro style passer. You got a chance to watch that kid? Because I had one of my viewers say, hey, how could you forget about him? Well, guess what? I did my homework and I had to take a look at him. Yeah, he's pro style quarterback. Got a beautiful arm. Mechanics, you got to work on a little bit, but he's got a fantastic arm. But hey, wait a minute. We're going to forget about him? And at what point do we say, I mean, this the Mannings. Are we really talking about money? I mean, Brad.
Facts. This is fact.
Hey, tell me, are we really talking about money with the Mannings?
But every kid wants their own money, though.
Exactly.
So
his own way.
I come from a decent, pretty good family, but everybody wants their own money. And he, as an 18, is he even 18? How old is he?
No, 17.
At 17 years old, if millions of dollars are put in front of you, and you think you're gonna look up to your uncle and your dad and be like, oh, I'm worried about what money you made. No. He's worried about his own money. And he has a whole other year in high school left. So I don't think the concern of what his dad and his uncles have done in the NFL was the decision on him picking Texas. I saw an Instagram post earlier. I don't know if you guys saw it, where Texas A&M, they had a recruiting coordinator that came out and was like, these guys that sit behind these walls right here, they're the ones that put all your money up and basically. Oh yeah. Did you see that today?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that today because we got to talk about that.
And we're just talking about Texas A&M. Texas A&M is on a small pole compared to University of Texas. University of Texas sits at the top of the Texas. So if Texas A&M is offering that kind of money, what do you think the University of Texas and a new head coach who struggled last year is offering money that can come in and change their program right away?
So you're telling me that it has nothing. It could be Mickey Mouse, the head coach at University of Texas. Tell me if that's what I'm hearing. It could be Mickey Mouse as long as he had the money, as long as it was $1 million plus. You're telling me that Archie Manning was going there and his uncles were sitting back saying, yeah, Mickey Mouse is the head coach, which of course we know that's not. But what I'm really saying, I'm being facetious. You're telling me it doesn't matter who the coach is. You're telling me it doesn't matter the system that Sarkisian can bring, and being in that room down in Tuscaloosa with who, Nick Saban, and learning how to work with two Heisman quarterback in that room.
Doesn't matter. I can tell you from experience, even when I went through the process. I mean, let's talk. Even now that it's legal, we can talk about it. Back when it wasn't legal, even my decision to go to Auburn, I thought what I was getting taken care of to come there, and I had 2 first-rounders sitting in front of me. I had Kyle Williams, who was the number 5 pick in the NFL draft, and Ronnie Brown, who was the number 3 pick in the draft. In front of me, and I thought I was going to start in front of him. I said, oh, I'm getting this, that, and that to come here. I don't care if they're there. I'm going to go make my money, and I'm going to keep it moving. As a 17, 18-year-old, you're not looking at the big picture like you should, honestly. So Texas is probably not the best fit for him outside of finances, but financially, when these schools can offer you the money that you want, and the stability that you want year in and year out, you're going to take it. I mean, like what 17, 18-year-old gets $2 million a year just to come here and play football, and you don't even have to be the starter right away.
So are we saying now? I want to hear from. Do y'all think that this is just the law of the land? This is the way it's going to be, regardless.
No, it is. I'm not going to say what college. I had a college message me yesterday about a running back, and basically said, "Hey, if you can flip his recruitment to come to our school, we have a nice NIL deal set up for him, and we'll have an NIL set up for you as well."
How about that? You already used up the eligibility, and you got a daggone NIL.
Man,
hey, Aaron, we're in the wrong. Craig, we're in the wrong.
Some of these
you ain't lying.
So
I want to get in here and push back on one thing though. That I will say, y'all seem to think Arch is going to be okay being red shirted.
He's already said he would be. He already said he'll be okay with
what
being
he said, and what it is different. He's not going to be okay with that.
And of course, we're barring injury. Think about it, Jonathan. We barring injury. And okay, this is the coach side of me. I'm thinking about, you got to have prepared for sudden change. What if Ewers goes down? And of course, nobody's still not talking about the the Murphy kid. I guess y'all gonna sit, but y'all gonna look up and he's gonna be throwing bombs at somebody. Maybe not at Texas. I will agree with you on that. But what if Arch has an injury? Senior year.
Part of the game. Honestly, I don't think he signs to the University of Texas at the end of the day.
Ooh.
I don't either.
So, I think it was, he's making a decision because he wants to get it out of the way. His senior year is about to start. You want to protect yourself and make sure your investment's good. Somebody's going to come in at the end that really needs him, like an Auburn or Georgia or Florida. And they're going to flip him at the end of the recruitment, and they're going to offer him like $4.5 or $5 million a year, and he's going to change his mind.
Well, and also if the kid at Texas plays well,
he's going to leave. He's not coming there.
If that kid plays well, you got a chance of that happening, I think.
Well, how about this? How about if they have a terrible season? What if Texas goes
terrible season because they got Bijan and they got Rashawn Johnson. So the worst case scenario is like when I was at Auburn, I used to tell our quarterback, hey, if anything goes wrong, just turn around and just check 32 or 33 blasts. Just give us the football.
Right.
When you have running backs to the extent they have, your job is easy because now you're going to have 7 to 8 players in the box, which means every receiver that you have is going to be one-on-one man-to-man coverage. So if that quarterback that they have now doesn't take advantage of it, let's say he will, let's say he won't. I just don't see like where it's concerned or where whoever's in that backfield, whoever's at that quarterback position is not going to have a problem. It's simple.
Wow. Well, looking at our first person that's coming up with a comment to make, Shark Attack. Welcome to Coach One Sports. We live and appreciate you. Yeah, Shark Attack. That's his name.
Okay. I was about to say, dang, I know he's not on here.
Hey, he said no one has to transfer. Ewers next 2 years, Arch after. Yes, he'll redshirt. Which I for one don't think it's going to go down like that. So I think me and Aaron Craig, where are you at on that? Are you thinking he's going to be cool with sitting like that? You've had a legacy of dealing with quarterback controversies back in high school. I ain't going to say the names, but you know.
What school do you go to?
Craig is at Lovejoy.
Hey, we on here. You might as well say the name.
Yeah, he Lovejoy. He was Lovejoy.
Lovejoy.
Who's the name? You might as well say it. We on this podcast.
Oh, we didn't have any. That's just Bull. Bull's just he's just shooting out stuff right now. We only had one quarterback controversy, and that was on the team that didn't make the playoffs, so it didn't matter. I don't know if he'll stay. I don't know if he'll sign with Texas. But here's the thing. Sooner or later, somebody's going to have to stay somewhere because everybody's running away from competition right now.
Yeah.
So if you don't play in a year, you leave, and then you go somewhere else and you don't play, you're going to leave again. You're going to play for five. You're going to play for 5 different schools.
Do you blame them though?
No, because it's right now it's set up for them to do that.
There's only one quarterback. So you look at receivers, you got 4 to 5. Look at running backs, you got 2 to 3 that play a game. Look at offensive linemen, you got 5. Linebackers, you got 3 at least. For quarterbacks, there's only 1. So why would you not, if the situations where you got to sit for 3 years and a guy comes right in and he's balling out, why would you not leave for what's best for your future?
Well, I'm not arguing with that. I completely understand why someone would leave. My point is that he's not in that situation. If he's as good as everybody thinks he is, and Ewers is as good as everybody thinks he is, then you don't think that they won't give him some time?
I don't think he's that great, honestly.
Whoa.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that, though. I think for the most part,
I think he has a name behind him, and that name holds a lot of weight. If he had a different last name, we would not be talking about him right now. True or false?
He'd be a 4-star. He's a 4-star.
But without that last name, would he have the 4-star?
Yeah, I would rate him as a 4-star without the name. He's a 5-star because of the name, in my opinion.
He's a solid quarterback.
Well, he is a 5-star quarterback, technically, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, he's solid, but you're right. The name is a huge factor, but I think it's just that upside. When you look at Eli Manning, for example, where Eli Manning was at Ole Miss and where he ended up being in the NFL and his maceration process, he had the most improvement I've ever seen from college to pro, and ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it twice.
Agree.
I think that's what people are looking at.
You know what I look at?
Why not him come to a program here like Georgia Tech where somebody needs him?
Oh Lord, he don't.
Look, Collins ain't going to be the coach there after this year. Let's be real.
Well, we're working on that. We got some stuff working. We're trying to I actually work down there on Saturday. We're trying to get this run game going so they can win some games this year.
Are they gonna go back to the option?
They're gonna go back to running the football 80%. So they got transfers in. They got Dylan McDuffie that came from University of Buffalo that ran for 1,300 yards last year. Got him.
Hey, they need some offensive linemen. How about that? I mean, how about we start at offensive linemen? Because if they get the offensive linemen, I can run through that hole.
They had 4 transfer in.
Okay.
They have 4 graduate transfers transfer in. So like I think they're gonna be legit this year. Game 1 is gonna tell it all. They play Clemson in the Mercedes Dome.
Well, graduate transfers gives me a lot of hope because that's a big deal. Experience with offensive line, that's a big deal.
It is. So I'm looking forward to game 1. Game 1 is tell a lot about Georgia Tech.
Well, let's just hope that they,
Hey guys, therefore I only got like 5 more minutes on here. I'm actually out with my girl. She's looking like, hey, how long you gonna be on this podcast? So
well, you look, we don't want you in the doghouse, but because when you get off of this show, you got to continue on with your evening. Okay. and
give me all. I got 5 more minutes. And
yeah. You got 5 more minutes, and and it's not 6, it's 4:59.
I'm looking at the clock as she's sitting here looking like.
Hey, so let's move on. Let's go and talk about another thing, and we kind of mentioned it, and let's spill that over into the NIL. My thought process, and I want you all's thought process as well. Are the NILs going to kill college football?
Yes. So let me tell you my opinion on it. They should take NIL deals, put that money away for when they graduate. Now you have money to go away and start your life with. Let's look at some of the environments that some of these players come from. At 18 years old, some of them come from the hood of whatever city, Miami, Atlanta, and they may be around people that are, let's just be real with each other, that are moving around drugs or like that's what they're. Now you're giving them access to more money to do more dirt from the city that they came from. At the age of 18, how are you going to get an 18-year-old with $1 million that came from nothing and say, hey, act right and do what you're supposed to do and show them, go to class, keep your nose clean, don't get in trouble, don't get arrested, don't do nothing. Not going to happen.
Straight no chasing.
This next year is going to be so many arrests that happen over drug-related activity or money laundering. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. You can't have.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Brad, because Johnathan ran something by me earlier today about a situation going on down in Miami. And while we have a chance, and I want to hear your thoughts, and then we'll go to you, Aaron and Craig. Johnathan, go ahead. And I don't know if you heard this lately, Brad, about a situation going on in Miami about this NIL stuff.
I have no idea. I know one of my mentors has a lot to do with some of the money that goes down. He's ex-rapper. I'm not gonna say no names. 2 Live Crew type, but yeah. They have a lot invested into the program, and now that they can invest a lot into the program, a lot more money has been moved around. You gotta look at Miami. There's a lot of money in Miami. Let's forget about football, and just in general, Miami is like where everybody goes to retire. You got all these ex-Pro Bowlers and like alumni that went to school there, so they're putting their money back into the program to build the program back up. So what happened though? I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, Johnathan, go ahead.
So essentially, Jaden Rashada was a heavy lean to Florida for a very long time, right? He pulled his commitment, or not his commitment. He pulled his commitment date and said that we're going to push it out a week. Well, during that time frame, he visited Miami, right? So, and then all the speculation started. Miami basically outbidded Florida was the story. So when he committed to Miami, Michael Caspin, the famous NIL lawyer, released a statement saying that basically Miami didn't outbid Florida. It's just I don't send my reps or my clients, which is Jaden Rashada, to Florida because the Gator Collective, who runs the NIL for Florida Gators, is dysfunctional and they're not organized and there could be some shady stuff going on. And then the Gator Collective responded saying, we've never even contacted Michael Caspin. We have no idea what's going on, but we'll never deal with him again. So essentially Michael Caspin now is saying that I'm holding all of my clients They will not go to Florida. Basically, he's holding his 100 top clients hostage, essentially saying you won't be going to certain programs, and Florida is one of them.
That's what's coming. That's what it's going to. That's unfortunate. I
We
can see
talk
that.
about mafia stuff now. Is that we talking mafia? We talking about
I'm about to change my
so what we talking
my
about?
whole profession here soon. Like I'm about to stop training athletes and start repping them.
Yep,
I'm
an
gonna,
agent.
I'm gonna be like Tupac in Above the Rim.
Oh my God.
Like, that's how I feel right now. After getting the text message I got the last couple of days, I'm like, well, I don't need to train no more, huh? You want me to just get them to school there and you're gonna pay me what? Okay, all right, cool.
So but it's all legal now.
It's all legal. I can talk about it now. That's something like in the past I would never have this convo, especially on a podcast. But now that it's like everybody's open about it, I'm like, well, y'all want to go back 6 years ago when we were making this, that, and that, and yeah. I mean, let's just now that we can do this, we can talk about Cam Newton and all the money he made while he was. I mean, it's out there.
His daddy didn't take the money.
Well, we can go back and talk about Reggie Bush then.
Look, he put it in the building fund, Coach. He put that money in the building fund.
He put in building fund.
Yep, everybody
didn't take
got a
no
building
money.
Hey, put
fund.
it back into the church.
That preacher did not take the money.
He took that money.
That preacher didn't take the money.
They got that new church, man.
They got a brand new church.
But now that it's legal,
on the front of the church.
see, and that's what I'm saying. Now it's all legal. So with that being said, with this guy that Johnathan you're talking about, here's the deal that I'm worried about, and tell me what you guys think. I want to know what you think as well, Craig, because now this looks like this ain't football no more. It's a shady movement of people. You know what I mean? It's people going in a different direction and controlling people's lives. What do y'all think about that? Tell me what you think. Craig, I'll start with you, then you, Aaron.
Well, I mean, when you start talking about this, I read the article today about Rashada and the Miami thing. And, if somebody was going to offer me $9.5 million when I was coming out of high school to play, and I know those are just reported numbers, so there's nothing that's been verified, but I saw somewhere where $9.5 million to Miami, $11 million to Florida. I mean, that's crazy. That's monopoly money. All right. I can't even imagine what I would have been doing. I'd have been sitting in my senior econ class trying to figure out what I could buy, what I could invest in, all of that stuff. Days of he showed up driving a Trans Am, or he showed up driving a Benz, or those $500 handshakes, they're gone. All right. Wow. Now they're just putting it out there. Yep. Hey, if you come play for us, this is what we'll give you. And it's not going to help the parity in college football. It will help the athletes from a standpoint of clothing and food and whatever else they want to buy. Like you always hear on these 30 for 30 things about how everything was run and you couldn't get this and you couldn't get that because it was a recruiting violation. So yeah, it will help in that aspect. But when you hear the term "the rich get richer," it definitely applies because, like Johnathan said, the oil money in Texas is insane. Gotcha. So if you start looking at places that have the benefits of backing like that, it's going to make it harder for other schools to compete. And if you're sitting there at Cincinnati, who just played in the college football playoff, and you're watching all this go on, I mean, I know what the cry is going to be. It's going to be you still got to coach them and right. Coach them up and do all this stuff. But when you talk about is it destroying college football, I mean, if you're the left tackle at one of these universities and, you're a pretty good player and a player that's never stepped foot on campus comes in and gets presented with this, human nature says, hey, where's mine at? I'm the person that's protecting the backside. Well, what am I getting out of this deal?
Gotcha. You're right. I'm concerned that where we're going with this. And why we want to shout out to William Rembert down here in the ATL. Yo Kev, great friend of mine. Will, good to hear from you, big fella. He's got some daughters that play collegiate volleyball. Softball, and he's tuning in. Welcome to Coach One Sports. Glad to hear from you, big fella. I got a question for you guys. I want you to tell me. I'll start with you, Aaron, and then you, Jonathan. How about, and I mentioned this in one of my previous shows, how about, and I got the idea from Sam Crenshaw, awesome sportscaster down here in the Metro Atlanta area, does a great job with high school sports. Also, he's on 92.9 The Game here in the Metro Atlanta area, the largest sports talk radio show in the Southeast. He mentioned, so I'm only paraphrasing what he said. He said, how about if you want to cut out all of this stuff going on, why are we giving this money to kids that are 17, 18 years old? How about we wait till they do at least a year of college and then let them get a NIL deal? That way we cut out some of this raunchiness going on with the NIL and everybody pointing fingers, because eventually, as you just mentioned, as Jonathan mentioned, it's going to get dirty. It's going to get dirtier. But what if we take away having them get the NIL deals before they even set foot on campus? How about that? I want to think. What do you think about that first, Jonathan? Then you, Aaron, and then Craig.
So it's a great idea. Like the theory of it is sound. The problem is the legal aspect is a complete nightmare from an NIL perspective, because now you're denying funds legally to somebody that should have the rights to them on NIL. Because look at the NCAA football game coming out next year. Nobody's talking about this, but these kids are about to be making money off these video games now, where they didn't before. So from a legal perspective, having them wait a season, we already know that they're going to be making more than 90% of the coordinators. If a kid comes in making $8 million, he's making more than if he makes more than $1 million a year, realistically, unless you're a top coordinator, he's making more than him. So you're going to have a legal aspect of they'll say they're withholding money that I have legal rights to because of name, image, and likeness now that's already passed through the courts. SB 1401 that's about to pass through California, which is saying that now 50% of the money from the institutions of college football, men's basketball, and women's basketball now will go directly to those athletes. That's even more money in the pocket. And if you think that's only going to stay in the state of California, you're naive if you think that's going to happen, because then California has all the advantage. They're going to get every recruit essentially, not counting that now USC and UCLA is going to the Big Ten, in case you didn't hear that.
Yep.
So you have that, and I believe it's just a legal nightmare. Like when you think about it now, do I think it's right that these kids are coming in making $8, $10, $12 million now without stepping on the field? Absolutely not. But let's be real. We, as a lot of these fans, we've set ourselves up for this. We've preached the kids need to get paid. Now they're getting paid, and the NCAA decided not to govern anything and create regulation. Right. So they're over there like spoiled brass. The NCAA is, which is pretty much irrelevant, because now the SEC will surpass $1.1 billion a year this upcoming season, which is more than the NCAA makes. So now your governing body makes less than the conference. You have all types of issues going on here. It's going to take the Supreme Court to figure this out.
But here's the deal. Well, let me ask you this, and Aaron, tell me what you think, and Craig as well. But here again, you're saying you're talking about, like you said, Jonathan, the ability to make an income. Now you got to file taxes. So now we're going to tell an 18-year-old, a 17, 18-year-old to file taxes on money, and he probably didn't even figure out who his prom date was until last week. So, Aaron, I want you to expound on that, because, see, that's where I am with it.
Yeah, and I hear you, Jonathan, and Jonathan is correct in what he's saying. And unfortunately, I would, to get back off of your idea, I would take it one step further, Coach. I would say, how about let's not give them any money until their junior year? That would clean it up, because that would actually enhance college football, where you have some guys that probably should be staying in school and probably should take the extra years of development to stay in school for the money. And I think the product would be better on the field if we could figure out how to do it. I think the issue is exactly what Jonathan is saying, is that, at this point, you got a video game coming out. You can't deny these funds. But, Coach, you're exactly right when you say Hey, I'm 35 years old, man. I'm just now starting to get to a level of maturity in my life where I need to be as a man. And it takes that long. It really does. And when you're putting that kind of money in an 18-year-old's hands, it's a recipe for disaster. Just like Brad was saying, it's going to be a problem, man. I'm really, really, I don't know what you do to stop this point. But I do believe exactly what Brad said. I think there's going to be a lot of arrest. There's going to be a lot of money laundering. There's going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of tax evasion.
Like what Johnathan was leading to with that story. Yep.
Yeah.
They're not going to file taxes, man. You know that.
Come on, man.
They're gonna be
I had fun in college when I didn't have any money.
There's going to be
if I had fun in college and I didn't have any money, and I used to go to Burger King at late night and get those 29-cent hamburgers and 39-cent cheeseburgers and buy 100 of them and then take them back to the dorm and sell them for $2 a piece. Then guess what? You talk about if I had fun and I didn't have any money, what would I do with $2 million? I probably wouldn't be married.
You kill yourself. You're gonna have a lot of guys that are gonna die as a result of this.
I would have a gold chain that says "Don't let the baby face fool you."
Yeah, you would. We were just think about how stupid you were at 18. Just think about that.
ignorant.
Ooh, boy, hey, nobody going into service. Everybody trying to get a deal. Craig, what's your thoughts, man? Because this, don't let the baby face fool you, man. If I had that money. Oh man!
Well, I've heard some of your stories, so I know it would be an interesting change of perspective. Ooh. But think about this: this is Pandora's Box. It's been opened and everything's been let out. And right now, people are trying to figure out a way to put the top back on the box. And nobody knows how to do it because realistically, you can't do it. Like Johnathan said, there are legal ramifications. You can't tell someone now that we're going to withhold this from you after a year because, now people are going to say, well, he got it. Just like transfers, and this is not, it's just a comparison. I can remember 20 years ago, if you wanted to transfer schools, you had to have some kind of life-altering event where you would get to play the next year. Remember, if you transferred, you had to sit out a year, right, and everybody would talk about it. Well, they've got so-and-so waiting in the wings because he transferred from such and such university. Now you transfer at the drop of a hat. Look at Ewers from Texas. He didn't play his senior year in high school, so he could enroll early at Ohio State so he could get his hands on what everybody said was NIL money. Right. Now he transfers back to Texas. So he sat a year at Ohio State, and now he's coming back to Texas to play at home, and he's already been, ingratiated into the system, and that's what our biggest fear. We talk about it all the time is that this is going to trickle down to high schools, and the biggest fear what happens in the NFL trickles down to college and eventually trickles down to high school, whether it's defensive schemes, offensive schemes, the way your uniforms, your helmets, the way you dress, the way people warm up, everything trickles down. Eventually, this is going to trickle down to the next level. So it is what it is.
Hey, Avery, the translator's back. You guys remember she's a translator. We were going to hire when we make it big.
Avery, what it do?
Off season, we don't shave in the off season.
Hey, Avery, it's good to see. Avery, I still got my baby face. I just it's not going to change.
I haven't had time to shave lately.
Greg, hey, listen, we used to look alike. I don't know what happened. When we stopped coaching with each other, I still had something he left in.
Yeah, man, mine's gone. I look like a Saturday Night Live episode.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Avery. I had to get my brothers from another mother on here. I had Don Corleone, Johnathan Lewis. Don Corleone, Johnathan Lewis. That's his nickname. I got many for him, but it's glad that you stopped in. My first live show So I'm just having some fun with it, and definitely we appreciate you dropping in on us. And Johnathan, if anybody else comes in, definitely let us know. We get listen. Here's what I do know. I know that when everybody talks about this NIL and the NIL money, it's amazing how everybody forgets about recruiting and the coaches. You know, I'm gonna bring it back to the coaching element. And I think that was something that, you know, Coach Saban did mention this when at the coaches clinic. Listen, this whole deal, how do you convince kids to come play for you now when they got all the money? They got money. It doesn't matter who coaches you now. And the old school guys like to go into those living rooms and say, hey, listen, how about you come play for me? We're going to make you go take you from a boy to a man. We're going to help you be the best football player you can be, add to your quality of life, and possibly be drafted. Now it just seems like the coaches are out of the loop, you know, and that's the craziest part about it. Avery, we missed you too. Yes, we need you translating because I'm still trying to work on all of my Espanol. I'm working on it, and it ain't good, you know. But I need, yes, we need the translations, and definitely with Don Corleone, Johnathan here, we should be able to move forward with that. But what do y'all think about the coaches? How do you think? And this is just from a coaching standpoint, you know, because it seemed like Dabo tried to say something about this long time ago.
He did.
And Johnathan, you brought that up long time ago. And Aaron, you talked about it too. But when Spencer Rattler cut up, that's when I said it was all about the NILs. That's what I was getting from the coaches that were stopping by my school. It was, you know, you couldn't tell them anything. So what happens then if you can't tell them anything? How do you coach these kids now? You know, and that's the biggest part that I have a problem with. What do you say to these kids? Because these, you know, you can't chew them out no more. You can't chew the butt out if they don't get something right. How about this? I want all of y'all to tell me what you think about. How about this? How about to go along with the NIL? I mentioned, you know, they go a senior year, you know, they got to get into school first. How about this? If you're going to, with that notion you had, Aaron, about and bring up the year of the NIL, how about the transfer portal? Do we tell them they can't transfer until their second year? Because let's keep it real. And Craig, you know this. If you are recruited there, if your behind ain't playing by after your second year, hell, you need to leave anyway.
Right.
You ain't playing. Craig, tell me what you think, and then Johnathan and AP, tell me how y'all feel about it. Because you had a player that left Lovejoy when I'm gonna let you finish the rest.
Well, I mean, we had a guy that left, went to a school that used to be in that. Well, they're still in the Big 12 right now, and he played and got injured, and some guy named well, heck, I can't even think of his name now.
Oh, I can say it. I can say
it. Adrian Peterson. Some guy named Adrian Peterson got the ball, and then he transferred, and it was a great move for him. He ended up playing in the league. All right, and you know, we talk about it all the time. You know, you got to do what's best for yourself. Now, you know, as a fan, you hate it when you recruit somebody and they come in and stay a year and then they leave, because it feels like you don't know who's on your team anymore. Back in the day, I could tell you starting front, the receivers, the corners, running backs, who was in the pipeline and everything. Of course, I didn't have kids back in that time, and I wasn't coaching 3 sports. So right now I can't tell you what I'm doing tomorrow. But, you know, you brought up a great point, Bull, and it's the coaching aspect of it. You know, are you going to be able to coach kids hard now? Are you going to be able to be on them to get the best out of them? You're really going to have to understand all of your players. It's going to make player-coach relationships much bigger now, because you're going to have to understand exactly what you can do to motivate your players. And, you know, when we start talking about this, Johnathan or Aaron one said that some of these players are coming in making more than coordinators.
Yeah.
How long will it be before the players at a college, unite to get a coach fired?
Oh, it's going to happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How long is it before somebody goes, hey, they're not doing things the way we want it done?
Wow.
When they recruited you to come in to play in that system, but now we don't want to play in this system. It doesn't look like it's working. And you're going to, and then they're going to go and say, hey, they go or we go. And so that's one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot because, we see it like that on a high school level and it comes from different aspects. But when, and you see it in the NFL, you hear it talk about all the time, the players make more than the coaches.
Yep.
And that's why they say college coaches don't want to go to the NFL because they lose that, sense of control because their players are all more highly paid than they are.
Yep.
So that's just one of the things to think about, but going back to the leaving after a year, and the NIL stuff, I'm never going to tell anybody or talk bad about anybody for making money. You understand?
Yeah.
Because that's somebody else's, lifestyle. And I don't want to get put in that position of questioning what somebody else does. And the way they've done this now is they've basically given free reign to the players.
Gotcha.
I thought the first thing I said when they had the transfer portal was open, I said, that's going to kill the competitive balance of college football. And me, we always make fun about it. I'm a Georgia Tech fan. All right. And I live in, that's sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's hard. But when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs leaving Georgia Tech and going,
boy, he looked pretty in that Bama uniform, man. I'm just saying, you ran me right in there.
Hey man, I told my buddy's a huge Alabama fan, and I said, look, man, I was like, I'm just gonna let you know, the first time he touches the football and he don't have to break 4 tackles to get to the line of scrimmage, I was like, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. This dude is special. He's an elite talent, and Georgia Tech was lucky to have him for 2 years. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some people that should be very worried about that because now you've got young Alabama will have tight ends. They'll have all these wide receivers, got all these gigantic earth movers that playing up front. And then you're going to have that guy? Nah, that's a difference maker. I mean, just makes me want to be mad, but I can't be mad for him.
I know that's right. Johnathan, what do you think? And I want your thoughts on this because I know you follow it so well. The recruiting battle right now, where does it stand? The top 3 schools and the recruiting battles that's going on and how it's playing out. Because if I'm not mistaken, Bama, according to the top, the rankings, they're not up there right now, but there's some surprise schools there right now.
They're surging. So let me start off with that then, because I got a list here. We'll start off with that because we're going to start off with Louisville, not Alabama. Louisville, who's in the top 15 in recruiting, by the way. If you want to know how much NIL is affecting college football now, they just had 3 4-star players commit to Louisville from Belfour, California, out of USC's backyard, a school they're known to recruit.
Right.
So Adidas hosted a unsponsored event the weekend, right, where they host all these big name recruits. Reuben Owens committed shortly after the 3 4-stars committed. Clearly, NIL is not affecting there. But I got a question for all 3 of you, being coaches and me never coaching. I want to propose something, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, and give me your thoughts on this. And maybe I'm on to something, maybe not. I feel like the NIL problem maybe didn't start with the football players, but possibly the football coaches. And what I'm talking about is coaches making money more than anybody in the state. Let's say you're making more than, 40 or 42 state employees. We're talking senators, everybody, right? So there's no regulation on the coaching salary, and the players see that, right? So we'll go to Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney was the one to say, look, I'm not for the NIL. I'll leave when it happens. I'm not for the transfer portal. I'll leave when it happens. But how are you going to say that when you're making $10 million a year? How is that any fair to say that these players shouldn't be paid, right? And deal with these players when you're making $10 million a year? I get it. You're a grown man. You're above 18. but it's all about your worth, right? Are we talking about the worth of the player to the university, the billions of dollars that's generated in the NCAA every year, right? Because we know Coach Saban makes $11 million a year for one simple reason. He brings a lot of money to Alabama, not just winning national championships, but building up Tuscaloosa. Gary Patterson is a prime example of that for TCU. Look how much he built up TCU, right? They weren't even really an FBS program when he took over.
Right.
So, did it start possibly with the unregulation in the coaching community in college and then filter down into the players? I mean, realistically, this problem is not just in one sector. It's because there's no regulation, in my opinion, almost anywhere.
Right.
It's an imaginary line we're having, but none of them's ever put in place. So as coaches, what do you guys think about that? I'm just trying to get something from the other side.
Aaron, you go first.
I do. I think that coaches are entirely on that level paid, overpaid. I just don't. I think in sports in general, professional sports, I think it's great that the guys make money. Nothing wrong with that. But for what they're doing, I think they're way overpaid. And I agree with you that I think that is probably caused a lot of this and a lot of unrest. I do agree with it, because when you look at all of the NIL, rumblings, leading up to where we are now, the argument was exactly what Johnathan just said.
Exactly.
It's hard to tell a young man that he can't make money when the coaches is standing there making 10, 15, 20. I mean, I don't even know what Coach Saban makes by the time you get,
$1 more than the highest paid coach.
Man, that guy. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I agree. I think it's that way across the board. I think that salaries where the NFL are concerned are out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, the NBA, MLB, it's all crazy.
Your thoughts, Craig? I'm gonna bring this one in.
Like the original argument, if we're going to go back, was when the transfer portal started. They said, why can't a player leave when a coach has the ability to leave, even if they're under contract?
Bingo.
Right. Yeah. And, being a coach and knowing, I mean, what we do from a high school perspective, and Bull and I were together for a long time. And there's a lot of stuff that happens, but, I would never say that, like I said, I'm not going to speak on somebody else's money. Do I think it's hilarious that football coaches get paid $10 million? Yeah, but I want some of that $10 million. I ain't going to lie to you.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's just
I would take it.
It's like when they asked Babe Ruth what he thought about, making more than the president. And he said, I had a better year than the president. So, but I mean, that being said, I think all of this ties in together. And I think that Johnathan, you're probably onto it more than people want to talk about, because the salaries, as they've increased, have come with the popularity of the game. I mean, social media right now has a countdown for every football team in the country on how many days there are left until kickoff.
Yep.
There is a number on a board in our room. How many days until kickoff? It's everywhere. People used to talk about baseball being a national pastime. Well, that's been surpassed by football because everybody loves the game. And when you're building stadiums that are going to fit 108, 110,000 people in it, you're doing that so that you can field the best product that you can field. And the way you field the best product is you get the best coach. And how do you get the best coach? You pay the most money. All right. So when you want to talk about it, it all is going to trickle down. So you want the best coach, you pay the most money. Right now, you want the best players, you pay the most money.
Exactly.
Well, amen. Let the church say amen. I'm about to knock y'all out the seats of what I'm about to say. J-Day, hook 'em horns. Good to see you big time. Y'all right now got the number 3 recruiting class. Hope y'all can keep it up. Y'all got 3 5-stars in there, J-Day. So hopefully y'all can keep up the good work. Glad that you came to enjoy my first live broadcast, brother. Good to hear from you. So let me go ahead and bring this home because I'm a little different from all of y'all, the three of you guys. First of all, when it comes to coaching, I will tell you right now, especially on it's even on the high school level. I mean, because let's just keep it real. You want to see a guy worth his weight in gold. Let that guy be a high school teacher. Got to teach 4 to 6 classes. Okay, but bus duty, 7 a.m. bus duty, afternoon bus duty. Then he has to have football practice with kids that he didn't recruit. They just came to the school because they live in the district. And then you are judged by what you do on Friday night. They boo you when it's not going well. They cheer you temporarily because they're cheering their kids. And then your family, and got to sit up in the stands and hear whichever way it goes. Guess what? I need to get paid for my troubles. And I'm leaving there, dadgummit. I need to freaking get paid for the stress when I take that L and I got to come home and my wife has already told the kids, go ahead and get in the bed. Your daddy going to be mad. They just lost again. When Alvin Kamara hurt our feelings, Craig, I needed therapy. I needed counseling. I'm sorry to bring that up, but state championship game down here in the Georgia Dome, I had to get therapy, okay? That costs money, okay? I didn't want to go to work. I missed some days of work. That costs money. Pay me for my pain. Why do I say that? Because we are the show. It is the show. It is a form of entertainment. When you have a high school game and there's 10,000 to 15,000 people there and the city shuts down, you okay. You want to say that he ain't worth it? Well, how about that senator? He's not doing anything. Everybody wants to shut the city down and say, let's go see him. Or that guy that works at IBM, or the guy that works at Amazon, the manager at McDonald's. Nobody say, hey, we want to see him. See, football is one of the very few sports that whatever you do, it is in front of God, family, country, America. Win, lose, or draw. People will remember you for the rest of their lives according to the call you made on a particular play. And that's going to decide how the rest of their year is going to go, according to whether Michigan won or Ohio State won, because somebody made a call and half the stadium booed, half said yay. So guess what? Pay me for my troubles. It is a form of entertainment. Okay, nobody gets mad when Beyonce goes up there and makes all that money. Okay, nobody gets mad when Kanye and everybody else makes all that money. They are entertainment. Okay, as far as the money is concerned, how about this? In NBA, when you go into the league, that's a good one right there, Avery. Hey, when you go, Avery froze me right there. Get him my way. Hey, look, in the NBA, when you're a rookie, you get drafted, there's a cap. You're a slot, correct, Jonathan? Correct, yeah. Aaron? Correct, yeah. Greg? Okay, in the NFL now, there's a slot, correct? You can't make all that money. You can't do the Matthew Stafford anymore. Okay, in baseball, there is a certain slot, correct, Craig?
No. Yeah. Baseball is uncapped.
Okay, well, it's uncapped, but they do have where kids can sign at 16. Hello.
Oh, yeah. No, according to that. Yeah. I'm talking.
So watch this. Why can't we cap the kids coming out of high school that are going to? Why can't you cap them on the NIL? That's really what Coach Saban was really trying to say, and he was trying to say, can we have it all leveled off? And everybody threw daggers in Saban's back when he said that. So, and when it comes to at the end of the day, my wife hates when I say that word, but I'm gonna say it tonight. I'm telling you, dadgummit, the cream rises to the top. Pay me my money, okay? Because when I get fired, I got to move, okay? My kids get ridiculed at school. Your daddy lost. Or when I win, everybody's a fan. Everybody's loving it. But they only love you to the next weekend. And guess what? You only get, 14, 15 weekends in college football? How about you just pay me? Okay, pay me for my trouble. Because I might do the Ray Goff and not coach college football again. Okay, so Ray Goff never coached. He went into franchise food. Now look at him. So what I'm saying, fellas, is y'all wrong. Pay me my money for my honey.
I'm not saying to not pay you. All I'm saying is, should there be a regulation on coaches? Because if that's the case, we should start paying high school players.
No,
right? Aren't they the ones playing the game? Booby miles, blowing at your knees, possibly never playing again. Shouldn't it be fair across the board?
Okay, you got a point. And just like Brad said, how about take some of that money and put it away for them kids? Okay, how about that? I mean,
I believe it.
Can we bring it together? So you're right, Avery. I have great blood pressure. It doesn't. Avery, you're right. I don't need the medication. I just sound like this. You should see me on the football field, right, Craig?
Oh man, all I can say is he said start paying high school kids. Could you imagine what that would look like in the state of Georgia? Could you imagine?
Insane, probably.
Could you imagine what it would look like in the state of Georgia if you were paying high school kids and all of those traditional powers who have money could pay those kids?
Hey,
I mean, it would be. You would have you'd have the high school version of the super team.
Yeah.
You would have kids. They would be 65-0 at the end of the half. And we've been in a game
that
like
fake team that played on TV with it.
So it'd be like Vandy in Alabama.
Lovejoy and Morrow.
But we played somebody and beat them. I don't even want to say the score, but they had 0, and it was past 70, I think.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was on national television.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I'll never forget this. We scored on the last play of the half. It was a 96-yard interception return by D. Gates, who's playing for the USFL championship.
Right.
And he scored, and we got the conversion. I'm not going to tell you how that conversion happened. All I know is that when I walked off the field, I was getting chewed out by the head coach because it was 64-0. And I walked around the corner, and the guy who had set up the game was getting chewed out by the guy that was sponsoring the event, and it was ugly. And that event has never returned to the state of Georgia to this day.
See, Jonathan, that's why we need to get paid, man. Pay me for
I'm
my
not
trouble.
saying not to pay you. I'm just playing devil's advocate here and looking at it from every side. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, you're right, and duly noted. I think that it does have some credence to how we go about it, and it's sad because these kids are going to have a lot of money, and there's going to be a lot of problems, and when the problems come, much like what Brad said, you listen. All of us that played ball and coached high school, we know of some situations where a suitcase came in there, a briefcase. We know of something that happened, and we don't say anything because look, we don't say anything. But now it's okay to, if the situation that happened in Tennessee, if they had just waited a couple more years, it wouldn't have been a problem. No, McDonald's wouldn't have been in trouble.
Oh my gosh, the bag man.
I'm just saying, but y'all with me? Y'all see what I'm saying? Now we got a real monster. That was a little roach, little roach, a little water bug. Now we got the big monster. Now we got Godzilla.
I knew you were going with Godzilla. I knew you were going.
Godzilla. So that leads me to my last point. I want to go on. If we have any more people with some questions, just comments, and once again, Coach One Sports, folks that enjoy talking football with us. That's what it's all about. J-Day, I hope that Texas does get it right because now everybody's watching. I hope that one thing I said, and I mentioned it in my my show I did on Archie Manning, I hope that saves his job because everybody was on him and really kind of pushing him out the door. So hopefully that adds new life. And yes, he is a good OC, head coach, but he's even better OC, and hopefully they give him a chance. So
they can't do nothing to Sark.
Huh?
They can't do nothing to Sark. He got my dude down there, man.
Tashard Choice.
Yes. Can't do nothing to Sark now.
Now, Jonathan and Aaron. Now, see, Craig kind of he went into baseball mode on me. He went into Bobby Cox mode. See, I needed Craig. Craig was telling that story about that running back who had to leave and go to Georgia Tech. I'm going to say it. He was talking about Tashard Choice. Okay, Tashard Choice came from Lovejoy, where we were high school, and he went all the way out to Oklahoma, and he was out there, and then Superman came the next year. And Tashard had to, the powers that be allowed him to, not a portal then, but he was allowed to play at Georgia Tech, and the rest is history. So, he got Tashard, and I hope that they get a chance to be good. But now we're talking about USC and UCLA. Jonathan mentioned this today about, and yesterday about what's going on with that split up, and those folks are leaving. That speaks volumes. Tell me where does it go from there now, Johnathan?
So basically, the Pac-12 commissioner released a statement today, George Kliakoff. I don't know if you guys read it or not. The USC and UCLA is currently in talks with the Big Ten. This would be happening in 2024, them leaving to the Big Ten because that's when the Pac-12 media rights ends for both those teams. This is humongous because the Big Ten just signed on to a $1 billion media rights deal that now will include both of these programs. So with that being said, you're left with Oregon and Utah and Stanford as your bag holders, your money holders, essentially is what it comes down to, mainly Oregon with Phil Knight, right, in the boosters they have there. But I feel like this right here is the start of the Super League. There's no doubt that there's going to be a recovery from this. It's not possible anymore. With the Big 12 losing Texas and OU, I believe the Big 10 and the SEC will start a NFC/AFC NFL type system. Everybody else will be AA. And you're going to have 32 team conferences is what I would like to have. And then the winner of each big conference, 32 team conference, will play each other in the national championship. I feel like that's what's on the rise here with this, because this isn't over with yet. There's rumors now that Arizona State's in contact with the SEC, that Ohio State didn't sign off. They didn't like the fact that USC was even proposed to coming to the Big Ten. And now there's rumors that Ohio State could possibly be in contact with the SEC. So this is really getting chaotic.
Who are they running from? Aaron, who are they running from? Johnathan, Craig, who are they running from? Who's scared of the boogeyman? Who are they running from?
I don't believe the Ohio State stuff. I don't believe that rumor. Like I don't believe the Arizona State to SEC rumor either, because it's not from a reputable source. But I do believe that Lincoln Riley may have made a bad mistake when he said he wanted an easy ride to the playoff, because that's not happening anymore.
Arizona State couldn't beat Georgia State or Georgia Southern. I can tell you that right now.
And they beat USC last year.
Southern butt whipping.
Yeah, and they beat USC last year. Think about that. USC finished fourth in the Pac-12 South last year. This is going to get real interesting when it talks about the dollars and cents, because think about this. The Pac-12 just lost the entire LA market. Not one half of it. They lost the entire LA market. So you're talking about losing hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing is what this comes down to. What does that do to the Pac-12? It strips them of their funding, which most likely means what? They're going to dissolve. They got to dissolve somewhere.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What do you think on that, Aaron, on what Jonathan's talking about? What's your thought?
Man, I think I think it would be better for college football ultimately if we just did exactly what he said. I think it would increase the parity. I think a lot of the parity conversations happen because we don't have a bigger expanded playoff picture. I think if you do that and expand the playoffs out, I think you get more kids that might be willing to stay in some of their hometowns and some of the smaller markets, because they would have an opportunity to play for a championship. So I think ultimately it's a good thing, but I just wish that the NCAA would get a handle on it and kind of get it a bit more organized, because right now it's just a bunch of chaos.
Well, this strips the NCAA, by the way. They can't govern this. They're done. This right here showed the Supreme Court. Nobody's going to help the NCAA anymore. When this happened, the NCAA wasn't consulted. So what does that tell you? Are they respecting the NCAA? No.
Sounds like they pulling the depot move from Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody has to govern it, though, man. I think when it's ungoverned like this is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Jim McMahon can step in.
But, the other side of that, too, is that the NCAA has shown the reason nobody cares anymore is because they've shown a lack of inflexibility when it comes to any issue. And so eventually when you do that, people revolt and it's not going to listen to you. So the same thing with NILs, when they lost that battle, they've lost this battle. I wouldn't be shocked if another organization didn't form out of this.
Well, that's tough. Craig, I want you to elaborate a little bit, because I've heard some rumblings listening to talk radio recently about the same things Jonathan talking about. But what's your thoughts on it, Craig? Because I agree with Aaron. That looks like that's where we're going.
Yeah, the NCAA got fired on the day off.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Like Friday. You got five
exactly.
on the day off?
They didn't care if their mama or their grandmama gave them that chain or not. They're done.
Done.
And here's the thing, all of this functions from a football perspective, which is why we have this show, which is why we're doing it. All of this functions from a football perspective. When I heard this today, my baseball brain kicked in. And I thought, them dudes went to UCLA and USC because they were playing in the Pac-12. They don't want to get on an airplane in February or in March and fly and play Penn State, Maryland, Northwestern over there in that weather. They don't want to do that. And then think about it. You got all the other sports. You're going to play a Tuesday night basketball game in school across the country. The logistics of this are insane. And I mean, and it's all being fed by football money. And that's and when people talk about why does football do this? Why does football get that? It's because football funds everything else because of the massive nature of what football is. And so do I think that what Johnathan said is going to happen? There's been rumors of 4 super conferences for about, it started when you had the SEC's first expansion and then the ACC expanded by raiding the Big East. And everybody talked about we're heading for 4 super conferences. But I think what Johnathan just said, it might be the way to go. That might be the perfect thing to have a setup. Now, it's going to be a logistical nightmare to start off with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. We're already talking about UCF and Cincinnati are in the Big 12 now, so they're going to be flying across the country to play games. So it doesn't seem like anybody's worried about logistics at this point.
Well, they're going to have their own plane.
Put that on. Yeah, I mean that, and you're at this point now where the sport is going to do one of two things. It's either going to flourish or it's going to devour itself, because it's gotten to the point now where we talked about coaches' salaries, we've talked about NIL, all of those are fueled by fans. All right.
Yep.
And and fan by the root is fanatic, and everybody wants to see, whatever, they want their team to be the best that they can be. And, everybody talks about parity. The only way to have parity is to have a true playoff. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Real playoff.
And for years, we've played this game since the 60s called the Super Bowl. And some of them have been excellent games, and some of them have been sleepers. But every year, everybody tunes in to watch the Super Bowl because it's the best team from this conference and the best team from this conference, and they've made their way through a playoff system to get to the final game. And I think that's what everything's setting up for.
Well said, fellas. All three of y'all. I couldn't agree more. And also on a lighter note, when I saw them talking about getting rid of those divisions, the East and West and all that stuff, that also let me know that this looks more like it's going to be a big area with some teams, and they might pick the top 20 and make them go into a playoff. You never know. They'll have another playoff. So yes, Avery, I think that Texas, I think they're going to have some fun. They got some new recruits coming in. And I said this a while back, some folks thought it was corny, but what is college football with those schools not being up at the top? Let's just keep it real. In Texas, your Southern Cal, your Ohio State. Yeah, you got Ohio State and Georgia, Bama,
Miami.
Florida. But what about Miami? When those schools
I grew up with Florida State.
Yeah,
Florida State. Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, so Penn State was good, So guess what? I believe you're right, Avery. I think Texas is going to be all right. I think that they're going to be pretty good. It seems like they're getting some studs in there, and who knows? But on a closing note, fellas, your thoughts on where this recruiting battle is going to go, as far as who's going to be the school that's going to really persevere in the end. And I'm talking about December to signing day. Who's going to be those top 3 schools that's going to move some mountains? I mean, all this other early stuff is cool fluff, but of course ain't nobody signed anything. But at the end of the day, who do you think the last top 3 schools standing are going to be? We'll go with you first, Craig, then you, Aaron, and then you, JL.
Akron, Cincinnati. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to overlook what is a year by year trend. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you're going to look up at the end and you're going to see the regular, suspects up there. You're going to see Alabama. You're going to see Georgia, unfortunately. You're going to see, Texas because of what they can do now. Texas A&M. But the team that scares me from being, because being a Tech fan, you always look at the ACC. The team that scares me with the coaching change and with the resources is Miami, because I think Miami has a chance to rekindle some things down there, because they've got some advantages that maybe other teams don't have, and I think that's one of the reasons why there were certain coaches in the ACC that weren't really big on NIL and stuff like that, because they knew what was going to happen. And I think you'll see a resurgence from Miami pretty soon. Well
said. I agree. Luther Campbell, saw him at the Bama camp, by the way.
Saw that.
That's on go to Coach One Sports and on my Facebook, and you'll see. Coach, he's a little taller than I thought, but he knows some football. Who are your thoughts, AP?
I say Miami is the one, 100%. Craig took the words right out of my mouth. I think you're going to have other teams that are good. Bama, of course. Your usual suspects, Ohio State. All of these guys are going to be blue chippers, but I think Miami's got a real chance with the NIL. I like what Cristobal is about. I think he's a very good coach. And I think that they're going to have some parts and pieces there they haven't had. And Cristobal is a defensive-minded coach, which is what we all know what the OU teams are based on. And I think that they're going to be hard to deal with. And you know what? They probably will win the ACC next year, because I don't see Clemson being that great. So I like them.
Oh, wow. I like that too. Yeah, I agree with you. What you think, JL?
All right, so I'm going to break it down this way. Texas is definitely going to be in the top 3, if not the number 1 class, and it has a lot to do with Archie Manning. Archie Manning did what more than anything by coming to Texas? He brought in recruits immediately, 6 to be exact, directly after he committed. Ohio State, I don't know if anybody can stop the recruiting Brian Hartline has done at the receiver position. This is just getting kind of out of control, in my opinion. He signed 7 5-stars since 2019, by the way. Ridiculous at this point, right? So Ohio State's going to be up there. Alabama, in my opinion, has the most underrated recruiting staff, probably, when you talk about Holloman Wiggins, Freddie Roach. The list goes on and on here. Yep. Travarius Robinson.
Pete Golden, my man.
Yeah, Pete Golden's probably the most underrated. I feel like the best recruiter we're going to have long term is going to be Travarius Robinson from Miami. He locked up 2 5-star cornerbacks, Jalil Hurley and Tony Mitchell, in my opinion. I know Freddie Roach had a lot to do with it, and obviously Pete Golding. But then the usual suspects, of course, Georgia and those guys. Kirby Smart's not going to let the recruiting lack, of course. USC, though, I want to know, it's going to be interesting to watch how this play into the Big Ten affects their recruiting. Their recruiting right now is on a roll. Like they're going to most likely end up with Francis Mauanoa, 5-star offensive tackle, July 4th. Miami, I feel like, is on a huge roll. And they actually locked up another guy today, Robert Stafford, the number 12 athlete, I believe, coming out of Ugalele. And then nobody's talking about the one guy I keep talking about, and that's Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. He's doing everything Brian Kelly kept saying it couldn't be done. CJ Carr, a Lloyd Carr legacy, right? The last time Michigan won a national championship was him as a coach, and he put on a Notre Dame hat. And nobody's talking about that. He has the number 3 recruiting class for 2023 now and the number 2 recruiting class for 2024. So, yeah, clearly he's making moves that people couldn't make there before. Brian Kelly.
Well, I tell you, Johnathan stole my flame, because I was waiting for you guys to say Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. He's got 13 4-star commits. 13. One 5-star, but he got 13 4-stars. And No one's mentioning how well he's doing in that field. And of course, it's early. It's early because here are the technicians when it comes to getting close. Here's what happens when you get past December. That whole thing plays out. The technicians that really steal people, and it's going to be Kirby Smart. He's a magician, and the Godfather, Coach Saban. They steal and flip kids. I'm so impressed with the way Kirby has flipped so many kids of Saban's. You know, he is the master at it. Don't get it twisted. I think that he is the best, but he learned it from Saban. But when you start winning and beating people upside the head this fall, it all makes a difference. Okay, so here's my top three. I think that right now we see the early front runners. When the cream rises to the top, chat, you know that's my favorite line. Well, one of them. When the cream rises to the top. Will remember, Will. I mean, Clemson is good. They're good. But Dabo is 1 foot out the door. He's going to the NFL, Will. He ain't staying around, okay? He's going to take his ice cream and take the Carolina Panthers job. I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to happen. He ain't sticking around. Okay, because he's gonna get his head beat in by the U, and I'm telling you, it's going down. So here's my when the smoke clears, my top three will be Bama, Ohio State, and UGA. Some things never change. Credit to what the early birds that start the race, but remember, you got to finish that race. And then that first Wednesday in February, baby, the cream rises to the top. Hey, them guys that move and they know how to flip, and I'm not talking about pancakes, I'm talking about recruits. It's going down. And that's what I think. I think that that's going to go down like that. Avery, glad you got a chance to hang out with us. We're going to sleep well. Aaron, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on your social media and podcast sites.
Yeah, Aaron Parks, Enough Said Sports. Join us there where we don't do fandom, we do business, and where we don't make friends, we make money. Check us out on YouTube. Get paid to watch these sports. YouTube, Enough Said Sports. Come on board. We rock with us.
Hey, I'm so glad to have him today, sports fans. You know, he been, I don't know, I ain't have enough subscribers for him to come visit me. So I had to sneak in. I had to use another phone. I think it was Jonathan's number I called to see if I could catch up to him. So he picked up the phone. So that's how I got him tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Chatman, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find. Oh, I'm sorry. State champion, Pike County High School, and down here in Georgia. He did a fantastic job. State championship. They got one of the best pitching staffs ever. They beat my alma mater. You know, I was in my feelings, but I was loving Chatman, you know, because he's my brother from another mother, but I'm from Raider Blue. So I was in my feelings. It was a great game. He got that big ring. He got a whole bunch of them, sports fans. He is my brother from another mother. I still look better than him.
Absolutely.
Just let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me at 6:15 on the lake tomorrow morning. And because summer school is over, I taught summer school for 4 weeks. So my official start of summer is the morning. And other than that, I'm perusing on Twitter nightly, yelling about the Braves at Coach Chatman or at Coach_Chatman09.
All right. And last but not least, I saved Don Corleone, JL, Johnathan Lewis, helping me turn around and have my first live show. Appreciate you, JL, for taking me through the course. Let everybody know where they can find you.
College Football with Johnathan Lewis on YouTube, and then at College FB Lewis on Twitter. And my OnlyFans is, no, I'm joking. Yeah.
Hey, Will, glad that you can listen to us have fun. Did you hear what he said? He said, hey, if you enjoyed the show, please make sure you comment, join me. Okay, Coach One Sports, Coach at Coach One Sports with Coach Bull Jones, or you can catch me on Twitter at Coach Bull Jones. I enjoyed you all tonight. Hey, listen, we'll chat again. Same time, same bat channel. You all have a great night. We'll talk later.